360. Normally you don't hear the clapping when I do my pre-filmed videos because normally I don't need to. But whenever I do my live streams, I clap. And this is a short live stream. So I don't know. The dynamics of this are bizarre, but we're not here to talk about my filming practices. We're here to talk about the fact that BTS lost the Grammy that they were nominated for 2000 and would it be considered the 2021 Grammys, even though they're voting on stuff from 2020? Anyway, BTS lost the Grammy to Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, which I can't say I'm surprised. And before you start saying I'm hating BTS, please stop. It has nothing to do with hating BTS. It has to do with the fact that I am an American person who has been living in the United States for several decades, and I can tell you I'm not surprised that the people who vote for the Grammys would not have given BTS the trophy. In fact, I'm almost positive that the reason why they were only nominated for one award out of the entire year is because the Grammy nomination committee wanted to ensure that they would perform and continue to be associated with the Recording Academy to do promos and interviews and social media engagement, and that is the reason why BTS got their one nomination. And it's not because they don't deserve Grammys, far from it. It's because the people who are actually placing these nominations and the people who are voting don't see the real artistic value of a BTS. So let's just get into it. When the nominations for the Grammys came out a couple of years ago, BTS was nominated for a Grammy for their packaging, which at the time I thought was a really fair Grammy, because if K-pop does one thing well, it is fucking packaging. Like when you get a K-pop album, it comes with photo cards, it has beautiful photo books, it has all these things that you don't see in typical Western packaging. So I'm like, this is an award that K-pop should have won every year for the last 15 years. But they didn't win. They were nominated, but they didn't win. They lost to somebody else who had some commemorative packaging, and that's fine, you know. It was a fair fight in a lot of ways. But they weren't nominated for anything related to their music at that time. Then they had Dynamite, they had Boy With Love, they had a bunch of pop success. And so when we heard that BTS was nominated for the Grammy this year, it was like, okay, they're nominated for a song. They're not nominated for packaging. They're not nominated for some other weird ass thing. They're nominated for an actual major award for the Grammys. And I think I did a live stream where I talked about the Grammy nominations, and I'll try to find that live stream and link it if I can. But at the time, I said I didn't think BTS would win because I felt like the reason why they were only nominated for this category is because the Grammys wanted BTS to be at the awards, to be a part of the awards ceremony. And the reason I felt that way is because there's a category called world music that K-pop should be winning virtually every year. K-pop is never nominated for the world music category. This year at the Grammys, Burna Boy won for world music. Burna Boy is as much a pop act as BTS is, even though obviously BTS probably traffics in more mainstream pop. Burna Boy is an artist that me, sitting in the United States, has heard of before, but is not an American artist at all. And that's because he's worked with several different big acts in pop music, so Burna Boy is a recognizable name. You're being very loud. And so that's the reason why I was like, okay, if Burna Boy can be nominated for a Grammy and win a Grammy, and other well-known international artists can be nominated for the World Music Grammy and win that Grammy, why wouldn't a K-pop act who is singing in Korean, active in South Korea, win the World Music Award? Being very loud.
Sorry.
Everything you're doing is crumbling and making noise. Sorry about that, guys. Why wouldn't BTS be nominated? Why wouldn't other K acts be nominated? And at the end of the day, I think the reason why they won't nominate BTS for a World Music Award, and the reason why BTS only gets nominated for Fringe Awards, is because they're looking at K-pop as the same thing as novelty music. Follow me here. So I'm looking at K-pop for what genres of other music that I'm familiar with does it emulate. So it's not just K-pop. It is, okay, the Nine Muse girls sound like disco, or I'm listening to Shiny and they're bringing elements of house, or I'm listening to Zion T and I'm hearing R&B and I'm hearing jazzy things in there too. But I always look at K-pop and I'm like, here are all the other genres I hear inside of K-pop. When Grammy people look at K-pop, they're looking at, oh, the kids like BTS and Blackpink. I remember that funny song Gangnam Style. They're not looking at it for its musical merits. And until they can see K-pop for its actual musical merits, it's impossible for K-pop to be taken seriously by these old fuddy-duddies who are looking for handouts and press passes and other kind of swag in order to get them to vote for anybody. So you guys probably don't know this. I'm sure a lot of you do. You'll probably read about it after this live. But the Grammys, when it comes to nominations, it's not that everybody who votes for the Grammy says who they want and then whoever gets the most mentions is the one who gets nominated. That's not the way that works. There's an actual nominating committee. And that nominating committee gets the input from all of their members about who they think is worthy, and then they decide who gets to be nominated for a Grammy. That's why this year, The Weeknd wasn't nominated for a single freaking Grammy, even though he's been on the top 10 of the Billboard Top 100 every single week for the last calendar year. He's been in the top 10. Since this time last year, he's been in the top 10. But he wasn't nominated for a Grammy. BTS has been consistently showing up on the Billboard Top 100 for almost the last 3 years. They're just now being nominated for their music. It has everything to do with the fact that, again, this nominating committee is not looking at what you and I and other people around us are listening to. They're looking at, okay, I watch NPR's Tiny Desk. Who have I seen on that show before? Okay, well, I was a child or a teenager in the 60s. I wonder if any of my old faves released an album this year. They're looking at all these other aspects that you and I, the common man, aren't really looking for. But then there's another really shady, shitty component that's thrown in there. In an age where social media is so very important, they're also looking at, okay, we have a telecast to promote. So who can we advertise and get people to watch it so that we have high ratings? Who can we get to do interviews and performances on behalf of our Music Cares program so that people will tune into our YouTube channel, so that people retweet our tweets? Those are all things that they're looking at when they're doing nominations. The business of nominating artists for an artistic award is exactly that. It is a business. It's not about art. It is absolutely a business. And that's why The Weeknd said that he doesn't want anything to do with the Grammys from now on. He says he doesn't want his record company to promote him to the Grammys or try to get him a nomination. He is not going to perform for the Grammys. He's washed his hands of the Grammys because he recognizes what it is. It is about getting your foothold in the old boys club and trying to get the old boys club to accept you. And the old boys club is filled with xenophobic, narcissistic, stodgy, old-timey, backwards, probably MAGA-filled, old-thinking people who aren't progressive and don't know what people are listening to right now. And they stick with the things that they know and the things that they love, and they continue to perpetuate this idea that art has to be something that the public doesn't really embrace and understand. And that getting a Grammy is the definition of having made it as an artist. And the more that people continue to laud the Grammys and prop the Grammys up and act like winning a Grammy is what means that your fave has finally made it, or that your fave is validated, continues to allow them to run this monopoly and to continue to pull and push the sway of the public. We've got to get to the point where we, as the public, tell the Grammys, until you start to reflect us, you don't mean anything to us. The Grammys really and truly should reflect the music that the people of that year are listening to.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't.
It should like really go from like what's charting, what's streaming, to like more underground things that aren't getting played on the radio but are still super popular.
Why can't it be both?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it should be both.
Like,
at the
why
same
can't it
time,
be?
And that's what gets people.
You know, if it's a year where Lil Nas X is doing Old Town Road, why can't he be nominated for a Grammy when every kid in elementary school knows the words to Old Town Road?
Yeah.
Because obviously something magical happened in that studio to make a song that's that fucking catchy.
Yeah.
That's an art. That is an art. And so, am I surprised that the Grammys would do BTS like this? No. The reason why I'm not surprised is because they know what they're doing, and I hope and I pray that BTS knows what they're doing too. I really, truly, and sincerely hope that after BTS gives their fire performance at the Grammys, that they turn right around and they say, we won't be showing up at the Grammys again after this. It's very obvious to us that we were propped up and used as a tool to garner views and votes, and so we're not doing it.
Yeah, like even one of the official like live streams for the Grammys, the viewership went down so fast when BTS didn't get the award.
Yeah, people are tuning in for their faves. People are tuning in to watch Doja Cat, Meg The Stallion, BTS. There's some people who are tuning in to see Poppy. People are showing up for their faves. So the Grammy does a really great job of including just enough of your favorite popular people to make it seem like it's relevant. But when you look at the actual majority of the awards given in any night, I promise you 60% of the people who win awards are people you've never heard of. From the classical categories to the jazz R&B, jazz, country, classical, folk, rock, alternative, progressive, engineering awards. There's a ton of people who are winning awards that you've never heard of. Because it doesn't represent the zeitgeist of the public. It represents the interest of the nominating committee. Rachel Maddow won a Grammy Award this year.
Who's Rachel Maddow?
She is a host of a show on MSNBC.
What?
Right.
Like, I get that there are some underground people who have, like, done a lot for the music community and, like, need their props. But it's also, like, you know, like, all these people, like, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard of that Michelle Ndegeocello gal until we saw the nominations. I haven't heard of a lot of the people until I saw the nominations. And, I mean, I know they're probably looking at, like, Spotify's, like, underground artist playlist.
No, they're not even doing that. What happens is the nominating committee are filled with people who have been in Hollywood, Nashville, other music places for years. They know who these people are. They have friends that are into the industry, and their friends are who they're nominating for a lot of these awards. So the reason why Robert Glasper featuring her and Michelle Ndegeocello won for Best R&B Album instead of winning for one of the jazz categories is because they probably have a friend who engineered that album or worked on that song who they want to give a Grammy to. And that's why these people get nominated.
Yeah.
So Rachel Maddow's a host of a political show on MSNBC. She wrote a book, did the audio recording for her book, and won a Grammy. Hillary Clinton has won a Grammy before. I believe Barack Obama has won a Grammy before. I'm not sure if Michelle has won a Grammy before, but there's so many people who have won Grammys that you have never even thought should be nominated for anything having to do with music, that they get awards. So it's all about the Insider Boys Club.
And
that's
like,
exactly
honestly,
what it is.
The weird thing is that if it were played by like what was popular, you know, a group that would get a bunch of awards, 100 Gex. And like the people at the Grammys probably like, what is this non-music?
Like next year, if what's the name, that Olivia girl who does driver's license, She should be nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
Her debut was super solid. People really like her. A lot of buzz around her talent, not just the backstory of her song. She should be nominated for Best New Artist. There is an artist nominated for Best New Artist tonight, Kate Trinata, that's been around for at least 5 years.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Kate Trinata ain't new.
Yeah, they're nominated for Best New Artist. Been around for years. Lizzo, the year that she won Best New Artist, Lizzo had been around for at least 10 years.
That song Truth Hurts came out in like 2016.
I'm telling you, it's a fucking game. It's a fucking game. So I want to say this just to round this out because we've been talking now for a while and I don't want to do a long live stream. BTS has nothing to be ashamed of. BTS not winning their specific category is no indication of the quality of their music, is no indication of the quality of their artistry, is no indication of who they are as individuals or the fact that they didn't try their hardest or do their best. It has really nothing to do with them. What it does have to do with is the absolute greediness and power struggle that people who are higher up in society seem to grapple over all the time. And it's unfortunate that BTS and their fandom are being caught up in this because at the end of the day, they have much better things they could be doing with their time. And I really sincerely hope that armies out there will send a message to the Recording Academy that they don't want BTS at the next Grammy Awards unless they win something. Straight up, you should hold the Grammy Awards hostage. Oh, somebody asked who won. Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande took home that award for Rain on Me, which is a good win. I mean, I'm not gonna act like that song's trash. I really like that song. But yeah, I think that what the armies should do is they should tell BTS, we don't want you performing for the Grammys until you win a Grammy. After you win a Grammy, then you should perform. But we should all basically say, turn our backs, not watch the show until you actually put an award in our hand. And then once you put an award in our hand, sure, we'll do a victory lap around your little award show next year. But don't continue to let them be used like this. Big Hit or Hybe, whatever it is that the company is calling themselves for right now. I can't remember if they've already changed the name or not. Don't fall for these tricks. Don't fall for these tricks. You're used to dealing with Mnet in Korea. You know what it's like. You know what the game is. Don't fall for these tricks. These folks is ruthless. They don't care nothing about art. So in the meantime and in between time, hold those motherfuckers hostage. Tell them you're not spending any time doing any interviews. You're not showing up to do any impromptu, unplugged, or special performances for the Recording Academy. Let them bitches stew in their own juices until they treat you fair. Because you deserve to be treated fair. I do not understand, again, I already said it before, I do not understand why they didn't get a world music nomination. Still don't understand. But that's okay, because we all know what it is now, we know what the score is, and BTS needs to be more than proud of what they've done. Because what BTS didn't win in Grammy Awards, they have broken in records. They have done everything else they could possibly do to show their validity. And so at this point, a Grammy don't make or break you, baby. A Grammy don't make or break you. So that's all I had to say about that. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you understand that, again, I have nothing negative to say about BTS in this situation because they did absolutely nothing wrong. This has everything to do with the fact that the Grammys are a fucking scam. And I really sincerely hope that armies will get together and they will send the message to Big Hit that keep your artist at home until they're being treated respectfully. There's no need to try to cater to Western approval or acceptance. You've got that. Now's the time to wield your power. So let's start making these power moves. Let's start making these power moves. Beyonce will join you. She's not working for the Grammys anymore. And if Beyonce's on your side, that already lets you know you guys have something. You could do something amazing here. So go ahead and let's go ahead and make our power strokes. Make them respect you. You don't have to beg for it. You have the power now. Make them respect you. Thanks, guys. Bye.